Hello, everyone. Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, Evie. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Another Thursday.
Always, yes, absolutely. How are things?
Yeah, all is well. All is well. I think having spoken to you briefly before we came on live, you know that I've just been doing the autumn release. The autumn release of just letting stuff go. I am the tree releasing the leaves at the moment, and it just feels very timely, and it's good. It's
Fantastic.
good.
Doesn't it make you really feel very well when you do that?
Yeah.
Then it's almost decluttering from like everything that you do, like whether it is like, getting rid of like clothes or things from
Yes.
your head, actually. I don't know.
Absolutely. And interestingly, I mean, our focus this week is about the responsibility weight. And it's that for me, it was about self-responsibility, being responsible for what I am and am not doing and where my energy is not going. Is that right? Is it aligned? Does it match my values? And if it doesn't, then it's time to shed. So for me, it's been very much that period of time. And I think that gosh, with the way that I'm feeling now, I mean, I feel so light, like a feather. I can assure you I don't weigh as little as a feather, but I feel that lightness, right? And that feels really good. It really does.
And it's very interesting that you're saying that, because the responsibility weight that we're discussing today, it's not really about shedding, is it? It's almost the other way around. And it's great the way you opened this discussion, because we can showcase to people that there is responsibility in how we keep on things or letting things go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I think the responsibility weight, I think it's a big one. I mean, and I'm sure that again, when we look at the phrases, that there will be some resonance for people, and it'll be like, oh my goodness, yes, I've said that. I'm very familiar with that. May have used slightly different words, but the meaning was the same. And I think that first one, it's all on me. That feeling of, oh my gosh, it's all on me. I've got to do everything. The weight of the world is on my shoulders. Type of feeling. I want to say, yes, I've probably used it, maybe in slightly different terms and at a very specific time in my life, that, where I can see that my thinking was very attuned to that. And it was, being a single parent, it was after I'd been made redundant, I'd come out of a relationship, and it was literally like, oh my gosh, this is all on me, and I've got to do everything. It was a very woe is me story, and I definitely know that the victim saboteur was at play in that moment for sure.
Well, I mean, I definitely have felt that, but to me, I think the controller plays way more like in this than my victim. I think the victim like does come out to play as well sometimes, especially when you're like, oh, it's all on me and I have to do everything. And if I don't do it, the world is going to come to an end, and poor me. And the victim starts. Yes, of course, you are very right. Poor you. And it can be really exhausting, because the first thing that comes to mind, that the people that are really hanging on to this, is that they don't ask for help, or they don't know how to ask for help. And this is one of the biggest tools basically that we have, is like, who can help with this, who can support, who can I speak to, who has done it, and then I can mirror them, whatever, that help that we don't ask.
Absolutely. And I think even when it's at its strongest, now the victim has never been a strong saboteur for me, but I can recognize it in that moment. And now when I look back, I can see how that played its role. However, I have experienced people where that is so much of almost like their daily living, and that even when help is offered, it's rejected because I literally have to. You know, it's almost like if I don't, the world will literally fall apart, and that could also be the controller, but also that sense of, you know, oh my goodness, you know, you wouldn't even begin to understand, you know, and how much is, you know, it's down to me. You know, it would take me too much time to try and even get you in to be able to help me. You do you know what I mean? There's a lot of storytelling that goes on in
And
this.
I want to add to this that it becomes a vicious cycle as well, because, you know, there comes a point when you refuse help once, twice, three times, then help doesn't come. And then it becomes like that bitter feeling, or like, of course I have to do everything by myself because nobody is putting their hand up to help.
Yes.
Nobody is doing it. So like really those kind of inner conversations can be so damaging, and so assuming as well that you know, I am alone because nobody cares, nobody comes to save me, nobody this, nobody that. And when you take a step back, and I have done that, so you know, I am definitely speaking from experience. The moment you take a step back and you are like, okay, let me actually reevaluate my thinking, the circumstances, and see who is around and who are these people that won't put their hand up, won't help, and all of these things. And then you start realizing, oh my goodness me, if only I took responsibility, if only I prioritized, and then. But again, I don't say you have to go all the way to the other end, because then it becomes the blame game, right? So it's a different type of thinking that can bring you pretty much back to where you started from.
Yeah.
It's a matter of just acknowledging certain things, taking responsibility, and moving forward, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, and you know, with this sense of it's all on me, and like you were saying, so people come forward and maybe they do offer help, but you reject it for whatever reasons. You reject it, and then suddenly those people are just, oh well, there's no point in trying to help that person because they never want my help anyway, so why would I offer again? And then that brewing of resentment that comes up, well, why isn't anybody even offering? So there's all that then comes up. So now we're just layering on, and really that stepping back and reflecting and just saying, okay, what is going on right now? Where would help really help me? What is it that I absolutely can do myself? And where would I benefit from another set of eyes, or a helping hand, or a kind word? I mean, it may not even be that they have to do anything, but just knowing that you have some support, a support network of some. And I think that when you step back and you reflect on that, you do suddenly start to think, oh, well, I hadn't even thought about this person or this person. And actually, I know that they're really well resourced in that way. And also in the asking for the help, understand that people also have the right to say no. Because I think that's
100%.
also such an important part. It's like, all you're doing is asking. If somebody says no, they don't have to now give you 1,000 reasons why it's a no. That we need to be able to accept the no and just say, well, I've asked. And you know, that was the bit that was on me, was to ask. The person said no. Okay. So is there somebody else, or as I now look at it, is there something else that I can do myself? And for me, there's also this thing about understanding shared responsibility absolutely creates stronger outcomes. So whether that's in the home, whether it's professionally, whatever it is, if you can share the responsibility for something that needs to be done, then make it so. And I say that because in my world, where a lot of the women that I work with take it upon themselves to do everything in the home, and they run a business, or they have a career, and the children, and they have taken control, may I say, potentially, of all of it, you know, and it is all on me. And actually, I'm like, where did that become the reality? And how did that become the reality? And really, it's just like, because, oh, well, because I initiated it. Okay. So now let's look at that and how we unfold some of that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the word I initiated it is like quite a heavy one. And I mean, when you think back, especially how women are like showing up in their home, it has a lot to do with their conditioning. So it's not so much about, you know, I have consciously taken upon myself to save the world and all my family. It's just that, well, you know, that was expected. What else can I do? This is, you know, the way all the women in my family have done it for generations. Well, this is where the responsibility needs to show up. This is where, you know, like what we've done for hundreds of years doesn't work for me. It might work for somebody else. Absolutely fine. But like, question things, and also asking again the question, is this true? Do I have to do everything by myself? I mean, I'm sure somebody in the family could be convenienced or inconvenienced with the way that I show up. But does that even matter if you have a good communication and express what you want, what your needs are as well? And I know, because from a controller's perspective, you also want things to be done how you want things to be done, right? I know, I do. And but believe me, as a controller, I just the moment I let things go, especially in areas that were not like that trivial. Sorry, they were trivial. It just felt like, oh my goodness me, there is another way of living.
Yes.
And people around can help, can adjust, can, you know, be partners rather than, I don't know, somebody that you mother.
Absolutely.
And that's, of course, a different kind of discussion now. But where we're heading with this.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, again, going back to, you know, initiated, of course, that's through cultural, societal framing of what it means to be a woman. You know, that even when somebody says, well, I initiated it, it was my fault, you know, I kind of put the rod on my back. Well, actually, probably society put the rod on your back way before you realised, and you've been carrying it ever since. So just understanding when you unpack it that it generally comes back down to and what you've seen before. Well, that's what my mother did. That's what my blah blah blah. Going back, we do all of this. But here's the thing: that we are here present and going forward. Do we want to keep on bringing forward things that no longer work for us as individuals or as a collective? And we need to stop and really pay attention to that. And I'm a great believer in, I'll ask for help when I need it, and if somebody is able and willing to, fantastic, and if they're not, I'll find a way. I don't tie anything to it anymore. There's not like, oh, well, if somebody's going to help, you know, fantastic, and they must do this, or, you know, no one can help and they're all awful and therefore I must do it myself. There is nothing tied to it. It's just simply ask the question, communicate it in a way that lands the way that I want it to, and somebody either can or they can't. And if they can't, that's okay. People ask me for help sometimes and I can't. That's okay. So we have to, you know, also understand and release pressure, and also release rejection. Because if I ask and they say no, oh my gosh, how awful am I going to feel now? So there is all this stuff that comes up, right? You know, I ask, they say no, how awful. I now feel even worse than I did if I hadn't asked. Stop tying and tagging more stories to the story.
Absolutely. It is the meaning we give things, isn't it? And I'm a great believer, like, if you don't ask, you're not going to get. You might need to ask like 10 times before you get, but hey, you need to ask.
Yes.
That's it. So,
Yes.
and you're so right. Everyone has the right to say no, and we are big advocates of saying no when things are not in alignment, and it's absolutely fine, because we also, as women, have not learned how to say no. And where does that get us? So
Exactly.
to honor the people that say no. And maybe the next question is like, okay, that's great, but do you know of anyone else that might help? Because that might even be the, the next answer.
Absolutely.
Especially if somebody's in, these people are specific, they have specific knowledge of something, so they might know other people that do exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
so they can help. So yeah, I think that it is very important to take responsibility, but not consider that everything is you,
Yes.
for you, and about you, and on you, and
Yeah.
what else?
All of that.
Yeah.
All of that. And that kind of leads to our second phrase, because again, it kind of interrelates. Although this one also, I think, ties in with the hyperachiever, is if I don't do it, no one will. It's, and then for me, responsibility and ownership, these are all important things, but understand that even if you're saying, I take responsibility, that doesn't mean to say you are now responsible for every single little thing. Even if you're taking ownership, that doesn't mean to say you have to take ownership of every single thing. What you might want to take ownership of is the need to manage the situation, or the need to bring and find the other people who you need to make this thing happen, right? That's taking responsibility. It doesn't mean to say that it all has to land on your shoulders. And I don't know, if I don't do it, no one will. That's not a phrase that I can say that I've used, but I know that it's something that a controller may use, and the hyperachiever. But does that resonate with you at all? Has that ever been a thing?
Yeah, absolutely. It not so much now, but in the past, definitely, I can hear myself when I hear this phrase, for sure.
Yeah.
And it also like ties very much in again with the victim, because the question is like, so leave everything and don't do it, and then the answer is like, yeah, but if I don't do it, who is going to do it? And then it becomes again that I will do it, but I'm going to be bitter about it. I'm going to be like thinking of all the bad things that I can think of for the other people that they could have done it and they haven't. And the stories become like so loud and so big and so like they really run the narrative in such a way that you cannot even get out of it. It becomes really how do you call it, downward spiral. You start in this type of thinking. So ever since I've worked with positive intelligence, my thought process has changed quite dramatically. And like, especially for things like that, I'm so much more open to say, okay, I can find somebody else that will do it. I can try and maybe do something myself, or I can get somebody to do some of the things, or so it becomes so much more freeing. And the other thing that I have found with this type of like the way the chains of my mind, how it has shifted, I can even let things go completely. So if I don't do it, nobody else will do it. Okay, never mind. Let it not be done.
I love that.
I mean, this is so rewarding and so like, I could not even believe that there is a realm where this two phrases we're coming together for me. So yeah, absolutely. So,
And if it doesn't get done, will the world fall apart? No. So, and that goes back to those questions that we always say, does this truly matter? Is it truly important? If it doesn't happen, is the world suddenly going to stop? And so important to ask ourselves these things. Because I think when you were saying there about, maybe someone can do this and I can do that, and that speaks into trust and delegation, doesn't it? Having the willingness to trust others and be willing to delegate instead of hoarding everything because you are perhaps a little bit obsessed with how it needs to be done anyway. Because I see how that becomes a challenge for the controller and for the hyperachiever, for the perfectionist. Everything must be done just like this. Therefore, I cannot possibly give it to anybody else because what if they don't? Then I'm going to have to pull them up on it. Or maybe you don't have to pull them up on it. Maybe you just need to be thankful that they offered to do it.
Yeah.
Period.
And also, the other thing is the victim here is the collaboration, and how good collaborations cannot really happen because you're thinking like so limited. These phrases are limiting, and they are really like playing on the a mindset that definitely does not want to grow. And to me, I think this also was an eye-opener when I thought of it this way, because you see, there are many things that we're thinking, and in this way of thinking, we are like, yes, okay, I want to make the shift, but I can't see any way out. And when this happens, you are really stuck.
Yeah.
So that's exactly when you need to either let everything go, let everything fall, and pick the one thing that you can do and you can start thinking. So it clears out that space in your mind to start a different thinking process. And I love positive intelligence just for that. Just for that. Yeah. It opens so much the possibility. And it frees you. It does free you when you're
absolutely
so, like, precious about this type of thinking, and how you appear and how you see the world, and how much more beautiful it is when you see the world through more than one eyes, or more than two eyes.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And I think that there's just so much to be said about, this, if I don't do it, no one will. And, even if you are somebody who says it, really to sit with it and just say, what am I really saying when I say it? Because language is everything, right? Because if that's the language you're using to yourself, what is it that you're saying to others who may be trying to help you? And they may be trying to help you in really kind of, quiet ways, so that you don't feel like, oh my gosh, why does everyone think I need saving or rescuing or what have you? They may be trying to really navigate quietly into helping you. But if you're in this thought process all the time, you're kind of resisting, again, other people's opportunity to serve you and help you with the very things that they're resourced to do. So that, again, it's that pushback that you give. And I think also our language, and I speak about language quite a bit when we talk about this, is the language we use when we want, need, or whatever, anything, is crucial, because we'll either say it in ways that irritate others, which means we'll probably get more of that, oh, well, I knew, why did I even bother? I shouldn't have asked in the first place, because we have not necessarily communicated in a way that has landed well, as opposed to really being clear on what it is that we're asking for and going to that person with that very clear statement, so that when it lands, they know what they're saying yes or no to, or are very clear on what they can or cannot do to help. you know, and I think, again, that for me is the self-responsibility. When I do ask somebody for help, am I being really clear about what it is that I truly need? Or am I fluffing it up? Or am I going around the houses? Or am I telling them 20 different things? What is it?
That is very, very true. Because, you know, it's only like almost logical when you are in that state of mind. It's very rarely, like you very rarely have the ability to communicate clearly what it is that you want. Because, like, if you are at the absolute, you know, like worst case scenario, all you need is release. And if you just release, whoever is the recipient of this release, we definitely don't understand what you want, because you don't know at this stage what it is that, you know, could help you. It's just a matter of like, you know, blah, I really can't deal with this anymore. And this is why when I believe that, like, you know, stop reacting, because that's what this causes. Like, you know, like the situation, you react to the situation, and then it doesn't serve anyone. When you're sort of like in that state of like absolute madness in your head, and I'm talking about me, I'm talking about my experience, right? So
I'm hearing me too.
I don't know. I hope somebody can resonate. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But like when you are there, like the easiest thing to do, or not the easiest, but like what will help definitely, is empty that space. Empty. Empty. Take that pause. It's not that hard to do. Just remember to pause. And you know, that allows for so much more space to play with, and then become like the opposite of reactive. Just, you know,
calm. It's just that calm.
Exactly.
Calm clarity. And it's so weird when you were explaining that just now, I was just thinking, oh my gosh, you know, I literally could picture myself back in that place where, you know, I was, you know, gosh, my son, you know, 17, my son's 17, we're locking horns, you know, this job's gone out the window, I don't want to work for any. I mean, I can remember feeling like the kettle boiling and the head about to pop off. That's where I was at. Now, had I tried to ask for help in that state, I don't even know if it would have made sense coming out of my mouth. I don't even think it would have made any sense coming out of my mouth. I literally had to get pen and paper and write stuff out. I mean, write stuff out of me, because there were so many different things. And then it was almost like having to write all this stuff out of me and just saying, okay, who do I need? Who can I speak to about that one thing? Because that's the other thing. Usually when we are in that kind of state, there are many things going on. And trying to do many things is never going to get the best of us, right? That lack of focus, that lack of clear attention, it's very difficult to try and do a million things. Some people may say that they can, and kudos to you. I've learned that that's not the way forward for me. But actually being able to pick one thing out and just saying, okay, let me just focus on this one thing. And is this one thing that I can do myself? Great. Is this one thing something where I definitely need somebody else's input, blah, 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 over here? And so almost like separating those things out and then just saying, right, who do I need to go to for this thing? I mean, had I not done that, I mean, my head probably would have popped off, quite frankly, because that's how explosive I felt inside, you know. And I can remember feeling that anxiousness and that high stress, and my cortisol was, I don't even know where that was, you know. And I didn't have the language then to understand all of that. I just know what the sensation was. So, you know, we need to not go to these places. You know, our body, even though our bodies are incredibly fantastic and brilliant and can do so much, they don't really want us to go to those places. They don't. So finding the tools and the resources to pull ourselves back and, like you said, take that pause. So, okay, what would really help me right now? What do I need to get clear on right now?
Yeah.
is yeah, the pause is magnificent. It's my go-to.
I definitely, mine too. Mine too. I think that they, like getting the tools or being able to stop the whole all these processes and thoughts and stuff like on the spot. And we do have this ability um, is key to a lot of things, and also like the answer to many, or against a lot of hardships, because we are living in hard times, and we are living in stressful times, and knowing how to like navigate that and navigate in a state that helps us and serves us is fabulous, I think.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I think that again is this is the beautiful thing I believe about positive intelligence, mental fitness, is that it helps us to do just that. Now, as somebody who's come from a background in physical fitness where it's all about the body, you don't create strength and endurance in a day. That would be delightful, but it doesn't happen that way. It's over time. And so is the same with mental fitness. It's a practice. You practice, those neural pathways start to the new ones come along, you start tapping more into those than the old ones. And before you know it, you have a whole new way of being. And that is the gold. And that's why I so believe in this work. I so believe in what we're doing in Permission to Thrive. I so believe that this can help people change the direction and the quality of the lives that they're having.
Yeah, 100%. And as you said, like to me, the time will pass anyway. So it doesn't, like it does matter if it passes the way that it serves you. And I'm like for like a procrastinator, I can tell you, like I have like let a lot of time go. I don't want to say wasted anymore, because there are, reasons why probably things happen, but like the time does pass, and like 5 minutes a day or 2 minutes a day doesn't really make any difference until it does, and it does like tremendously. So
yeah, 2 minutes every day for as long as I've been alive, that's a lot of time.
That's true.
That's a lot of time. So yeah, let's focus on having that quality of life that we want to have, and do the practice work that allows us to have that wherever we are now. This could be the first day of that. Absolutely. And I think, again, with the work that we're doing and the Permission to Thrive challenge that is happening in November this month, that you can jump on, it's free, just to get a taster. And for me, it's almost like a taster of what it feels like to become more sensory, to do more of the feeling and less of the jumping in with the thoughts first. Because if we become more sensory, if we get that slowing down, if we get that pause, what we tend to also get is that deeper sense of self and more clarity, and not that reactive stuff that, we tend to operate from a lot of the time.
And the great thing is that the challenge is not that the challenge is free, it's just that the tools you get there are yours for life, and they are making a difference in a lot of people's lives as we speak. So why not?
There it is. There's the call to action, folks. www.permissiontothrive.online. Go sign up for the challenge. It starts Monday the 17th, I believe. That's when it starts. So and it's free. And as Evie said, there are some tools within it that you will be able to download and keep for as long as you like, even if you never go back to the challenge itself. And they will serve you well.
Definitely, because there are quite few of them, so you can choose what actually suits you, right? Because we like that it can be important for each and every one of us, because we are unique, aren't we?
Absolutely. Create your own little menu. And on that note of menus, I don't know how we got from responsibility to menus. That's not bad going, is it?
No, absolutely not.
We are going to come to the end of this. Emmy, as always, thank you so much. It's always a joy and a pleasure to have time with you. And for those who tune in, thank you so much. And we appreciate your comments, and hope that you are being able to take some nuggets away from these conversations.
Definitely. So, as always, just move forward with grace, not grind.
Beautiful.
Thank you.